Hey y'all, Achieved here. This is my achievement guide for Shardbearer Rykard in Elden Ring. Let's get it. I'm going to assume you've already defeated the Godskin Noble and Mount Gelmir because he is required to be defeated in order to make it to Rykard. In double time, you're going to go up the elevator from the Godskin Noble's site of grace, head outside, and you'll jump over the wall, over near the lava pits, and then you're just going to follow the path that I take. You will come across several of these slugs, and you will actually come across one of the, I don't even know what they're called, the big robot things with the enemies on the inside. This guy right here. Come across him. When you come here, you're going to jump through the window, turn right, past this lizard guy, and then in the next room, if you go left, you can get a shortcut back to Rykard's, the Godskin Noble's Set of Grace. Then you're going to run past all these enemies in this door on the very end, and in here are going to be several of those lizards and a couple of the normal enemies. You can just run past everybody, and your goal is to get outside to the wayport, and it's going to take you to Rykard's area. And then from here, you're just going to go through the boss fog, and you're going to pick up the weapon on the left side in front of you. It is going to be a boss-specific weapon. It has no stat requirements, so just pick it up and equip it before you start the fight. Rykard is a two-phase boss. He's got two full phases. His first phase is as a God-Devouring Serpent. I would use your summon before you get too close, before the fight starts. But this weapon that you have, you're going to two-hand it, and then if you use the weapon's special art, it is going to stun the enemy every time you hit it. The key here is to stun the enemy once, and then you're going to wait a second between each activation of the thing, because if you use it right away, it won't stun the enemy again. So be careful how quickly you use the weapon art. The Serpent has a few moves that you've already seen. He has the Acid Spit, which he's doing right now. He can bury his head in the ground and then fling rocks your way, and that's pretty hard to dodge. And if you don't have high enough health, it will kill you, so be extra careful. He can also lunge at you or your summon, and I believe he can spit fire in your direction. But that's pretty much it for the God-Devouring Serpent. Just make sure that you keep your distance close enough to use the weapon art, but far enough away to not get hit by his acid attacks and his lunge attacks. And just keep using that weapon art over and over until it's dead. And it'll take a good 10 or 15 uses, but it's not that difficult for a phase 1. Time for the real boss, Rykard. Phase 2 is going to go exactly like Phase 1 did. You're going to use the weapon art to stun the boss and do a lot more damage than you would normally be able to do. He has an all new set of attacks now that he can do. The one you just saw, he shoots a skull at you, and the skull, the path that the skull takes explodes after the fact, and it will follow your direction and continue moving until it dissipates on its own. He can also use his sword like a regular sword. He can do sweeping attacks and stabbing attacks, both of which are really easy to dodge because he's big and slow. He will also, at I think 75% health, he will stick his sword up into the air, and then he's going to call forth a ton of those skulls that you see, These ones don't explode and they're really easy to run past. It's not that big of a deal if you can just keep running and dodge when you are near out of sprint. It's pretty easy to avoid at that point, but that's pretty much his biggest moves that you need to worry about. If you keep your distance from Rykard, he will just continue coming at you, and you can do the same trick with the Serpent as you can with Rykard. Whenever you stun him, he will. You can wait just a second to use your next stun, and it'll keep him stunned. You know, as long as you've got the FP and the stamina to use it. But that is pretty much it. Rykard is a gimmick boss, just like Yorm was in Dark Souls 3. So just take your time, make sure you do things the right way. Use that weapon art as much as you can, and this fight will be pretty easy. It'll take a long time, but it'll be pretty easy. So just enjoy the rest of the fight, and I'll see you guys next time.